And away we go. Hi, everybody. My name's Mitchell.
I'm Brett.
And this is Real World Recovery, your one-stop shop for Brett and I vaping.
Allegedly.
Behind the scenes, when no one's looking.
Yeah, nobody saw it.
You know, when I edit this, I do my best to, like, edit it to you while I'm vaping. And then I'll even turn the mic down so that you can't hear my...
I try to do that with not only the vaping, but, you know, the beverage consumption and, you know, whatever else, you know.
Yeah.
Me fiddling with, you know, my rings and fingers and fidgets and whatever. I do my best. Sometimes it's inevitable. It can't be helped, but,
Yeah.
you know.
I don't think anyone cares.
Nobody notices other than my,
you and I. Yeah.
My OCD.
Yeah. Yeah. So
now somebody's gonna go back and watch and be like, "Oh, I caught one."
I mean, that's good. If you go back and watch, you make sure to comment below each and every video where you found either me vaping, him vaping, or either one of us drinking a beverage.
Yeah, I mean, really, like,
do it for the algorithm.
Yes, call it out. Edit fail.
Yep.
Hashtag edit fail.
Hashtag edit fail. So tonight you went bowling.
I did
for the last time on your recovering bowling league here in Wisconsin. Mm-hmm. Is that bittersweet? Is that
no? I mean, there's bowling alleys all over.
Right, but you know, you didn't like the people you were bowling with, or
no? I did. It was. I mean, you know, we had a good time. It was, you know, we had a lot of fun. You know, but. Mm-hmm.
But now it's on.
Way it goes, man. You know, way it goes.
Yeah.
And enjoy it for as long as it lasts. And
somebody asked me to go bowling here in a couple of weeks, and I'm like, I cannot do that.
Yeah.
Yeah. And they're like, well, I mean, don't hurt yourself, but you should still come. And I'm like, I don't know why I would come to a bowling alley to watch other people bowl. I mean, if it was like a professional situation where it's like you're watching like pro bowlers like bowl, I mean, that could be exciting.
That sounds less fun to me, honestly.
Yeah.
Because like literally it's just like strike.
Yeah.
Strike. Like literally at that point you're rooting for them to not do well.
Maybe.
Because like their standard is doing really well.
Sure.
Like, I feel like it's a lot more fun to go watch people who aren't good. Because then, if they're doing good, it's like...
Did you know in the movie Kingpin, Bill Murray actually rolled all those strikes in a row?
I believe it. Bill Murray's
That's why the crowd was so hype?
Bill Murray's like... just this, like, anomalous, weird, like...
I mean, allegedly he's a massive bellend, but, you know...
He randomly shows up at, like, college parties and does people's dishes.
Yeah. Well, he's making up for, you know, his years of being slightly better than Chevy Chase.
I mean, it doesn't take much. Chevy Chase, I don't know.
Yeah.
There's a lot of stories about old Chev.
Well, you know, as I delve more into wanting to get to know things about, like, Harold Ramis, and some of the stuff that happened back when, it's you know, I can see how when you are become like the hottest you know, comedian movie actor in the world, how it would be to become kind of ego driven. Do you know what I mean? I guess I won't ever understand because I'll never be that famous, but, you know.
As far as you know.
I mean, I hope not. I wouldn't want to be.
Hey, man. It might just fall in your lap.
If I ended up, like, that famous, like, I could see myself going the Keanu Reeves, like, route where I just, like, hang out on park benches.
Wake up in a pool of goo and have to, like, pull a...
Yeah, well, that too. I mean, I've already done that, though.
Yeah.
Yeah, but different reasons than the Matrix. Yeah, I still have that scar down here, though.
Yeah.
Kind of hurts, but...
Yeah.
Yeah. I would probably be, wanting
Mr.
to
Anderson.
help people on the side of the road and shit like that, like he does.
Yeah.
I mean, not to say that I wouldn't stop and help somebody. After our meeting last night,
he had to go through a lot of shit though to kind of like get there.
Sure.
Like, I don't know. I mean, there's a thing that some of the long timers say in the meetings that it's another one of those cliches in meetings where they say, if everybody decided to take all of their shit and put it on a table in the middle of the room, and you could trade it for anybody else's, by the time you saw what everybody else's was, you'd decide to take yours back. Like, you wouldn't want anybody else's shit. You'd realize, like, all of the shit that I've dealt with in my life, like, actually, you know what, I'm good with mine.
I can see why that's a saying, but I don't necessarily agree that would be the case for everybody. But,
well, it's what like, it's like I've dealt with a lot of it at this point. Like,
yeah. It kind of goes back to something that I was starting to talk about last night in our meeting. It's been something that I've kind of been meditating on since I've freed myself of the opiates. Somebody, I think it was a family member, said, well, don't you feel guilty that you were taking those? And it got me thinking about the guilt, because no, I don't. It's the, whatever.
Yeah.
And it got me thinking about guilt, and I've been meditating on it a lot more. And there are very few the things that I feel guilty about, there's no reason to feel guilty about. But the actual actions and things that I did, I don't feel guilty about. Do you know what I mean? Like the things that I did to other people. And it got me thinking about, what guilt and shame really means to me. And it's not something that I've we've talked about it on this podcast before. We've both talked at length, but it's like, maybe I feel guilty for things that I can't control because I can't control them, if that makes sense. I don't know. It's like I've forever felt guilty about my daughter's death. You know what I mean? And that situation was entirely out of my control. Like, did I tell my ex-wife to listen to the doctors? Yes. But is that literally what you should do, generally speaking? Also, yes. So, is it something I should feel guilty about? Probably not. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. Do I? But then in that same vein, do I feel guilty that I hid drinking from my ex-wife? No.
Right.
Not even remotely. Like, there isn't any... I don't feel bad about it. And part of me feels like, part of me is still the broken self going, well, her behavior justified it, or she deserved it in some way, or, and to come to find out, she was hiding it from me as well. So we were just hiding our alcoholism from each other. And probably the only reason that neither one of us could tell the other one was doing it is because we were both drunk.
Yeah. Well, makes me wonder if there's a part of that is the fact that part of the equation in the one scenario is missing. So, like, the inability to experience any, variations, or like, if I change something this way, or like make some change, does it have a different outcome or impact, or anything like that? down the road, or be able to see like, how does this change in behavior impact this, like, not having that ability to see that, you're stuck in time there. Mm-hmm. Like the timeline ends.
Right.
And you continue, but the ability to affect any change or have any impact on it doesn't. Like it stops.
Yeah, it's
there. Mm-hmm. And so like then it's all hypothetical, right? And so I could see that being like, of course then you have to live in a hypothetical, like you have to just postulate, like it has to be,
Well, and that's what got me thinking back to the accountability thing. And it's like, okay, well, I don't feel guilty, but my life changed when I started holding myself accountable to my own actions. Now, I think that I've been thinking about this a lot over the past night, mostly because that storm this morning, if you guys are in the Midwest, holy crap, was like relentlessly loud. But I was like, thinking about how my change wasn't driven by guilt or shame. My change into recovery, my change into accountability wasn't driven by guilt or shame. And that might be one of the reasons why it's been easier for me than it has been for a lot of people that I've known, because like I didn't want to live like that anymore. Mm-hmm. And I didn't feel guilty about having had lived like that, but I really didn't want to live like that anymore.
Yeah.
And so maybe that's what made taking accountability, personal accountability, a little bit easier, because, did it suck at first to have to like look at people and be like, wow, I'm a shitty person? I mean, sure. It's like, I mean, it didn't feel good, but I'm not like, oh my God, I'm so sorry for being, it's like, hey, my behavior is inexcusable. So.
Right. Well, and I think that, for me anyway, like, I realized that that's not where the sentence had to end. Mm-hmm. It was like, I've been a shitty person, but I don't have to be.
Yeah.
Like, I can do something about it.
And I think that's what changed was, somewhere around month 5 of therapy.
Right.
And it's like, okay,
I've had a shitty attitude. I've been selfish, but I don't have to keep being that way.
Right.
Like that doesn't mean that I'm going to be forever. Like right. I've been selfish and I've used people and I've manipulated people, but that doesn't mean I always will. And I am going to be that way forever. Like, I can change. Holy shit. Like,
yeah.
Wow.
Exactly.
I've had a negative attitude, but that doesn't mean I'm always going to. I can actually like start changing that. Okay. What does that look like? Well, let's maybe check that out.
I think that's, and I think going back to the guilt, I think that's where my pragmatism has always kind of saved me, where it's like, well, you already did it. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like, so, like, what are your options? Mm-hmm. Kind of like when I was talking about my Spanish communication, I was like, I had a rough Wednesday evening after that, because it was just like, I felt so dumb. I studied so hard for that.
Yeah.
And I just drew a fat blank, dude. Mm-hmm. And like the most important thing in the entire class. And, it's like, well, what do you do about it? And what I can do is Monday I can go to class, and then Monday when he's got his time, I can be at the school and I can be like, hey man, look, this is what happened. Mm-hmm. Explain what happened to him, just mano a mano, as they would say, and be like, hey, how do we either rectify this, or how do I prove to you that I'm learning this language so that I don't take a fat F on that shit, because as it stands now, I'm pretty sure that is.
Yeah.
You know, and that will mean that I got an F on like at least one test in every class, which is kind of hilarious to me, because it's like I was so good at school back in the 90s. I was so good at it. And I'm not like dumber. Do you know what I mean? I'm not like, I haven't lost intelligence, but like, I think like something has happened where I've lost touch in how we communicate information. Maybe, I don't know. Maybe I'm just not as good at retaining all of it after drinking and taking drugs my whole life.
I mean, maybe that's it, but also like, I mean, it is just a giant change of like what you're accustomed to. It's like, you know, like it's a massive
upheaval.
It's a massive change. Like, and I think that anytime that there's a huge pivot from what we're accustomed to and literally like changing everything and setting lofty expectations of ourselves, because
I have thrown those out the window.
But you did have
but I did absolutely have those. And then reality, but is that you?
You know, having these expectations of like, I'm going to get X. Mm-hmm. And, you know, it's like, it maybe sets a, you know, unrealistic precedent of like exhaustion.
Oh, yeah.
And then it creates this like feedback loop of, you know, like...
Yeah, it ends up with pancreatitis, yeah.
Well, and
that thought has crossed my mind.
But, you know, like...
It ends up with a bomb test.
Yeah, like, even with, you know, set the, you know, illness aside and, like, the hospital visit aside. But, like, even without that, like, putting that expectation on yourself, like, and this, not you specifically, but anyone, putting it on oneself will cause a person to stay up too late, get too little sleep, you know, and that cycle continues, and then being tired, you don't retain knowledge, and then, you know, that just continues to feed on itself, and over a long enough period of time, like, that cycle just perpetuates and gets worse and worse.
Yeah, I'm in the I need a break part of that cycle, and it sucks because like spring break, which would have been a glorious break, I was sick, and so it's like I didn't actually get a break.
Right.
So
yeah,
there was no rest.
Yeah. So
I was asleep when you texted me tonight.
Yeah.
That's how my sleep has been. Mm-hmm. I was dead asleep at like 8 o'clock in the evening.
Yeah. Yeah.
I probably would have been asleep all night too. Anyway.
But like, that's, you know, it just, that's one of those slippery slopes of, you know, having that, expectation of, you know, results, as opposed to, measuring our satisfaction based on the effort rather than the external results, you know. And, you know, it's like, that's for people like you and I, that we are used to
success.
Well, we're accustomed to being, you know, high achievers in,
Sure.
you know, test taking and work performance and whatever we tend to put our minds to. We tend to be the types of people that hyperfixate and, you know, like to be, you know, the quote unquote perfectionists and, you know, whatever word you want to choose for it, like that tends to be the side effect of putting those expectations on ourselves is we overwork ourselves and then it ends up having the opposite result.
Man, I gotta quit sugar again. I have been back on sugar, and it's gotta end.
Yeah.
It's gotta end, and it's just, it's... You want to talk about, dare I feel guilty about sugar, because I know better.
Yeah, well...
Do you know what I mean?
I do.
Yeah. But even there, like, I'm not... Even there, you can see cracks of how it isn't my fault, because I couldn't eat and they had me on sugar water in the hospital. And if they didn't have me on sugar water, then I wouldn't have gotten re-addicted to sugar, and then I wouldn't be struggling with sugar addiction again.
Yeah.
Or I'm the one buying the damn sugar for my house. I need to stop doing that. And when I'm at other people's houses, I need to not eat sugar.
Or before that, you could say that they wouldn't have had to give you sugar water if whatever led up to...
They don't know.
Right, but I mean, we kind of know.
Do we? You think it's the stress?
Fucking right I do.
Oh, well. I don't know, man.
What else changed?
I mean, it's fair. That's fair.
Like, Occam's razor, man.
Yeah.
All other things being equal, the simplest answer is usually the correct one.
Mm-hmm.
Like, the big change in your life.
It's funny, like this past week, where we were studying the effects of your psychology on your getting sick.
Yeah.
And just like, and this week it's social psychology. And this poor young person in my class.
How do you know they're poor?
They're, I deserve that.
He meant unfortunate.
Sure. It doesn't matter. None of it matters. And they were like, well, where can you give me an example of where you would see like this groupthink in the modern day? And I'm like, do you have the internet? Like, are you serious right now? You cannot be serious. You cannot be serious. Oh my God.
Groupthink?
I'm like
literally everywhere.
I'm like, dude, like, what?
Yeah.
Holy crap. Anyway.
Yeah.
And
have
like,
you heard of social media? It's incredible.
It's literally what it is.
Yeah.
And if you don't like the think of the group you're in, you just find another group
Yeah,
until you find the group that
honestly,
you think with.
It doesn't even need to be social media. Go to any news site that allows comments on any of their articles.
Go to any comment section anywhere on the internet. I don't know how I still get suckered into that. It's almost like
have you ever
watching
seen reviews for for anything?
Yeah, go on Amazon, man.
Yeah.
It's a shame they started taking down the funny ones, because that was just so much fun. But yeah, anyway.
I mean, I get it. I do. Like, I get it.
I mean, I don't. Like, how is it affecting them? It's not.
I mean, but...
Did you see Bezos, like, had what's her face, the American Idol girl, ride his dick out to space?
Yeah. I did.
I was thinking to myself, it was way more impressive when he shot Bill Shatner with his dick.
More important than that, did you see that AdSense Daddy lost the lawsuit and has to now break up their ad monopoly.
Really?
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah. I don't think it.
I'm gonna have to edit that out.
Yeah, probably. I mean, but it had to do. It was the FTC. It was before this administration took over. Like this was.
Yeah, but they're in control now.
Doesn't matter. Like it's the FTC chair that was in office long before that.
Interesting. I mean, yeah, it is a fucking monopoly.
I mean, but that hasn't mattered forever.
I mean, that's the entire point of America, is to consolidate wealth in the hands of very few. And you know, people are like, "Oh, well, slavery's over." I'm like, "Bro, like you're so dense. They didn't get rid of slavery. They just expanded it to include everyone." They own it for anything, anywhere, anyway. So this tangerine, mango, guava, strawberry rockstar. I'm not sure whether or not I like it, yet I keep drinking it. I feel like it tastes like they didn't know what it tastes like. And so they're just like, it tastes like all these things, because it doesn't really taste like any of them at all. Do you know what I mean? They're like, how can we get away with serving up this mystery flavor? Like, you remember the Dum Dums, the little lollipop, how there'd be the mystery one? And you know where that comes from, right? When they're changing over the flavors inside the machine, there's still some of each flavor in there. And so they're just like, well, wrap it with the mystery. Nobody knows. And I feel like that's what Rockstar is doing here.
I mean, probably.
You know? And then I've got this apple peach strawberry. Same thing. Like, you guys just didn't sit on what, like, you just didn't know what it tasted like. And so you're like, oh, it's kind of appley, it's kind of peachy, it's kind of strawberry. It is none of these things. Why not just call it generic tropical fruit beverage or generic summer fruit? You know, like, I don't know, man.
I mean, you could.
For those of you at home, the look that Brett's giving me is like, that is so fascinating, Mitchell.
It's the look of, I don't drink very many energy drinks.
Well, you know, you're not as tired as I am, apparently. No, you drink coffee.
I drink like 1 cup of coffee in the morning.
Man.
I've very much weaned myself off of most of the caffeine intake that I used to drink when I was working from home.
Well, I'm proud of you for that.
Yeah.
I've
actually
gone in the opposite direction.
I feel like I've got more energy the less caffeine I intake.
Yeah. Well, I think that's another good reason to cut out sugar, because I slept a lot better and had a lot more energy when I was not consuming sugar.
Yeah, I believe that.
You know, so. Anyway, yeah. Did I send you the meme about the greeters, the difference between AA greeters and NA greeters?
Maybe.
I don't think I did. In fact, I am almost certain I was saving it for exactly this occasion, because I wanted to see your the look on your face in person. Where is it? Yeah, there we go. I'll put it up on screen.
You did send me that.
Did I?
Yeah.
Yeah. That's good.
It reminds me of the joke that I heard about the difference between folks that you meet in AA and NA. Both of them will steal your wallet. It's just the people in NA will help you look for it.
Yeah, last night after we left our meeting, I went to the Metro Market there in Monona, and I was like,
Or maybe it was the other way around. I don't remember. One of the
It's
other.
probably the NA people.
I mean,
You know,
whatever.
drug addicts, man.
It doesn't
Anyway,
matter. One or the other. I mean, I guess it
somebody
depends on
had
who's
dropped
telling
their
it. Really, it depends on who's telling it.
Yeah.
It's interchangeable.
I mean, I've known some surly old alcoholics. So somebody had dropped their thing by the cart return. Their like zip up wallet, like a girl's wallet, where it's like the big zipper open thing. You know what I mean? And I was like, I like had that moment where I looked around and I'm like, this is a trap. Yeah. Somebody's watching this, and then as soon as I pick it up, they're gonna try to say I stole it, and I'm like, where is that paranoia coming from? And sure enough, as soon as I touched it, nothing. No, I took it, and I handed it to the kid who was like returning cards, so it's his responsibility now. Yeah,
sure.
I mean, he's authority enough, right? Some 15-year-old kid putting up carts.
Yeah, why not?
I mean, there's cameras.
I mean, close enough.
I mean, he's an employee, right? That's doing the right thing, right?
Yeah, I mean, sure.
Because at first I wanted to just leave it there.
Yeah, that feels worse.
Does it?
Yeah. Yeah, it does.
I was pretty torn. Which is kind of weird, huh? Dude, okay, so this is how my thought process went. If I knew I dropped my wallet somewhere and I knew where kind of the general area where it had to be, I would go back to that general area and I would be like, damn, it has to be here. Now it's not here. There's no way. Where else could I have dropped it? And then I would look everywhere else. I don't know that I would go into the store until like the very end and be like, do you know what I mean? Like, because I don't have faith that anybody would turn it in.
See, I guess that's the difference between you and me.
Yeah, you believe that people will do the right thing if given the opportunity. Did I do the right thing?
Yeah.
Okay. Anyway.
I think so.
I thought about taking it all the way to customer service, but then I couldn't be asked. I was like, well...
I mean, close enough. You gave it to an employee, like... And I'm sure that there's... You know...
I didn't even open it or look in it.
Yeah, I mean, there's... That's close enough. That way it's at least not, like, just out there for some deviant to take. So...
I suppose.
You know, the indifference is worse, I think. You know, doing nothing if you didn't notice it is different.
Well, there's not the possibility that you'll do anything because you didn't know that there was something to do.
But like, if you notice it, it's like, well, then it's, you know, Schrodinger's cat's been seen. The cat exists then.
I mean, the cat exists either way. It's just alive or dead.
I mean...
Yeah. You know. Yeah, anyway, so that's, you know, a moral dilemma that I faced right after talking about facing moral dilemma. And
there you go.
In the meeting.
Yeah.
Yeah. I was surprised to look down at my watch and see 8:01. That's why I wrapped so quickly. I was like, oh, well, crap. I'm out of time. But, you know, hey. It's probably more important that everybody else gets a chance to speak than have me bloviate on whatever randomness is going on in my head. That's what this is for. This is my opportunity to bloviate at length.
I mean, yeah, that's why we do this, you know? That's, it really is. So I went to the airport in Milwaukee the other day to pick up Cassie on our way back from doing...
Did you hang out in the recombobulation area?
No, but there's a really cool bookstore.
Yeah.
In there.
Is there? Inside the airport?
Yeah, and they got a bunch of like... It's all like... Mostly like used books. Like they like a ton of like old like secondhand books.
Interesting.
Like they've got like volumes on the top shelf of like they've got these collections, and some of them are like thousands of dollars for these like collections of like these old like leather bound books. And I was like just fascinated. I was like, okay, this is like I gotta inspect this place a little closer. Like this isn't your average bookstore. So I'm like going through and like taking a closer look at what they've all got, and they've got like volumes of like stuff from like Civil War and like Revolutionary War and like correspondence, like official correspondence,
just straight up in the Milwaukee
like
airport.
in volumes, like book after book after book of like the official correspondence of like,
Wow.
And I'm
For
like,
sale?
yeah. And I'm like, what is this place? And I was like, this is fascinating. Like, and so I'm just like, just walking around, just like awestruck at some of the books that they've got in there. And I was like, this is wild. And then there's like that all the way to like, you know, like the modern day, like sci-fi, like kid, like weird, like, you know, pop culture, like,
Sure.
you know, werewolf, teeny bopper stuff, but like the whole gamut, like self-help books, like, you know, like philosophy, like religion, like all of it, like all across the board. Like, and then I was looking at like historical books. They've got stuff all the way back to like ancient Egypt and Rome and Greece, and then like there's finance books, and like it was just like, and everything seemed like it was secondhand books. I'm like, how many of these books have just come from
Like random places.
all over the
Yeah.
world? Like people are just like, oh, I read this on the plane. What do you give me for it? And it's like,
Is that what it is?
it has to be that. It has.
You didn't
to.
ask an employee?
No, I just was like so fascinated. I'm like literally picking these books up and like flipping through like random books. I got there early because I wasn't sure how long it was going to take. There was like construction on the highway. They were doing like road closures and stuff. I got a notification, and so I was like, well, I better head out early. And I actually was on the road before they even started closing down the road, so I got there way early. So I was like hanging out in the airport, and I was like, well, I got time to kill. I might as well bop around in this bookstore. And so like I just started like, and I just like got so like blown away by all of the books in there, and it was like, what is this place? Like in this like small little like Milwaukee, like,
Do you know what my favorite part about that airport is?
the recombobulation area?
No, that is named after me.
Yeah.
It's Mitchell Field.
Yeah. The General Mitchell or whatever.
I've only flown in and out of that airport twice, so I've been there like 4 times. It's okay. It's an okay airport.
It's decent.
I mean, you know,
they also have the
it's,
little meditation room, which is nice.
Yeah, I've not been in there.
Yeah,
I've done enough air travel where I'm not the show up 3 hours before your flight type person.
Yeah,
because yeah, it's dumb.
I mean, I get it, but you know, I like to get there early, but yeah, not
I mean, back when I
not crazy early. But.
Back when I, you know, drank, sure, you can just chill and drink in the airport. But I mean, you know, if you're flying with stuff that you'd prefer not to be asked about, you know, it's better to do it in the crowd when everybody's running, like, we got to get there right now. Because TSA knows that. And, like, unless you're super sus, you know, you're not going to get talked to about anything, you know. But anyway.
Cool.
Cheers. So this is Mojito LaCroix, which I was like, I should probably try it, but it does taste like a mojito, which is kind of weird. But yeah. Yeah, minty, limey. Anyway.
Cool.
I just think it's weird that they have like mojito flavored sparkling water. Like, it doesn't make a whole lot of sense to me.
I mean, I get lime.
Yeah, but minty, I don't know. It's okay.
I mean, lime, mint, sure.
Yeah. I think it's lime and mint, right? I mean, it doesn't say it, just...
Yeah, I mean, those are basically like lime, mint, sugar cane.
Yeah.
As like kind of your three main things besides the booze.
Yep, sans booze.
In a mojito.
I suppose it is spelled mojito, isn't it?
Yep. The old mojito.
Yeah. Yep. Anyway. Yeah, I'm tired.
Cool.
Yeah.
But yeah, I found that
that is crazy.
Like, that was like the highlight of the whole event was like, it was wild, man.
Did you buy anything?
I was gonna, but there was just a couple of books that I had in mind that I was like, if I could have found like those specific books that were like old, used, like leather bound ones, I would have bought those. But I didn't find copies of those there, so I didn't. But
which is fair.
So. But
what was it called?
I don't even remember. It's literally the only bookstore in there. But
it's not past security.
No, it's like right by the like main like sitting area, like right by the, like when you come in from the parking area on like the second or third floor or whatever it is, and there's the central like information booth.
Okay. Yeah.
It's like right there, like it's right there.
Yeah.
It's like it was fascinating, man. I was like, what?
Yeah, I never noticed it.
And like,
just last time I flew out of there.
All of the books were just like
Seattle.
Hand labeled with prices. So I was like, huh. Everything, I assumed everything had to be just...
Wouldn't it be weird if it was like if it was like a wizard or somebody like projecting that, and like you were the only one who was like able to see it, and it was actually like somebody trying to lure you in to like steal something out of your brain? That'd be kind of fun.
I mean, I hope they found it. You know?
Probably not.
Probably not. It's pretty well encrypted. That one maniac up there just typing away. He's like, he's doing a pretty good job of managing the firewall. But I did get a new book, which is
The Richest Man in Babylon.
Yeah, it's a classic. 1928 or something like that, I think, is when it was written. But the guy frames a bunch of like financial lessons in parables that take place in ancient Babylon. It's a classic.
Who was the richest man in Babylon?
I don't know.
Well,
it's all just...
Yeah, I see that. It's parables, and
about save your buddy, spending it wisely. I mean, yeah, sort of like that.
Yeah. I still haven't won the lottery, but to be fair, I still haven't played the lottery, so the two kind of go hand in hand.
The guy that I watch on YouTube that live streams during the stock market hours, during trading hours, that I've for the last several years. He just started a couple of weeks ago. He did a trivia for all of the people that are members of his channel, and using a game called Kahoot. So it's like an app that you can have a bunch of people play trivia, and it can have up to like 2,000 people.
That's a lot.
Play in one game at a time. There was over 1,500 people from his live stream in the game, and the top 6 went on to compete for a cash prize, and I got 7th place. But
Bummer.
one of the top 6 didn't join the Zoom call, so I got in.
Did you really?
Yeah. So it's on his channel. I'm in the live stream.
How'd you do?
I won.
Did you really?
Yeah.
How much you win?
$3,200.
No shit.
Yeah. Yeah.
Damn.
Yeah. Yeah. It was wild.
You didn't tell me this yesterday.
I did not.
I mean, way to save it for this, though. That's
it was wild, man. It was crazy. So the person who came in first on the trivia, he gave him the option to select the order that we would go in the Zoom call.
Yeah, and dude fucked up.
Well, we didn't know what the game was going to be.
Okay.
And so the guy that got first selects the order and has me going last. And so Josh, the YouTuber guy that I watch, he makes sure, he's like, are you sure you want this to be the order? Because this is like the critical piece of the game. Like, are you sure you want this to be the order? And Connor's like, yep, I'm good with that. And he goes, okay, well, here's the game. Says the first person, he's like, you can have $100 right now, or you can double it and give the next person the option. And he said, you guys, I want you guys to be like, ruthless as far as like trying to convince each other, and like, you can lie, you can whatever, as far as like convincing them what you want to, all of that stuff, right? And we still had no idea like the rest of the details, right? Mm-hmm. So it ultimately, each person ahead of me doubles it.
Yeah, so it's 32 when it gets to you.
And it gets to me, and Josh just goes, congratulations. You just won $3,200. I was like, fucking really? Like, that's it? He's like, yep, that's the whole... He's like, I can't believe none of you guys took the money. He's like, you guys, like, the whole point is like, why wouldn't you just take the money? Like, that the whole point of this was like...
Well, I mean, yeah.
Like,
fuck them.
Yeah, I was like, okay. So, I was like...
And what's your Venmo?
He's like, send me your PayPal.
Perfect.
I was like, I got to look it up. He's like, you don't know your PayPal? I'm like, I don't use PayPal. Like, I don't know what it is. He's like, no, that's fair. I don't use mine either.
I do. I use PayPal to pay for things on the internet. I think that, like, for me personally, it's another layer between my credit card and those sites.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Well, I mean, I've used it, but like I don't know what it is to have somebody send me money.
Oh, it's just whatever, your email or your phone number.
Yeah, like I was just like I had to look it up and see what the like at whatever like I didn't know what it was, but I sent it to him, and so that was just a deposit in my investment account. I was like,
there you go, man. Oh man,
I was like, sweet. but like literally like talk about like stars alive, like 7th place was just missed the cut.
Yeah.
But then somebody didn't make it in. So then he's like, who got 7th? I'm like, I did. He's like, okay, I'm going to send you the link. Sends me the link. I get in. I have no control whatsoever over
any of it
at all. Like, absolutely did nothing at all in the second round of it. Everybody ahead of me just was like, double it. And it gets to me, he's like, congratulations, send me your PayPal. I'm like, okay. Like, thanks.
That's so weird.
I was like, how
random.
Yeah.
How random.
And yeah, so it was very cool. Very cool.
Yeah. And do you have to, did he send you a tax form, or are you going to have to claim that?
I don't know. Probably.
Oh, it's lame.
Whatever.
Yeah. I mean, maybe not, though. It's under 10K.
This is the year to do it.
Is it?
Compared to last year? I would much rather claim that this year.
Oh, yeah, when you're poor?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, that'll go on the much lower tax bracket than it would have if I had to claim it last year.
That's fair. Yeah. Yeah. What are you going to do?
Yep.
Claim it this year. That's what you're going to do.
Yep.
Oh, taxes.
Yep.
People are so... Oh.
And the rest of the money that I can contribute to my IRA for the year, instead of putting into my Roth, I'll put into a traditional IRA because I can lower my taxable income that way, which will offset then.
Perfect.
Yeah. So.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Bada bing, bada boom.
I'm going to have 0 income this year. But that's okay.
Huh.
Yeah.
That'll be a pretty low tax bill.
Yeah. Yeah, sure will.
Hmm?
Yeah. But, you know, it's what it is. I would prefer to be poor on paper, honestly. But that's just me. That's just me. It lowers the expectations. You know? That you have to pay in to the government. Do you know what I mean?
I mean, I guess.
Anyway. Yeah, so I don't know that I'm going to be, fully employed as I'm going to school. You know, I do hopefully plan on picking up some weekend hours, but by no means am I going to, work full time.
Yeah.
And there's no stretch of the imagination where if I can't work under the table, I won't.
Sure.
Or if I can work under the table, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'm going to go that route because,
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yep. The only downside of working off the books is there's no, unemployment protection.
Sure, but I haven't had that the vast majority of my life because I was self-employed.
Right.
So,
no, I get that. I just, as a person who did a lot of work doing consulting for bars and restaurants, like that was the thing I tried to stress to people who thought they were pulling a fast one when they were like, I'll just not report any of my tips. And it's like, sure.
That's different.
Right. No, but I'm like, but it's like,
it's different.
It's similar though, when it's like,
so, what happens when you get used to working in an exterior trade where you will not work for 3 months, 4 months out of the year, is making sure that you have enough money to live for 4 or 5 months.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
So like, people, you've known me go through 2 unemployment spells, neither which one I ran out of money during.
Right.
Do you know what I mean?
Right.
Like I am very, I try to be very cognizant of how much money it costs me to stay alive for how long, and then make sure that I'm set to make it to this point. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And if I can make it a little farther, then fine. But like for 20 years of my life, I didn't work between, late December.
Yeah.
And April.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yep.
Like, sure, maybe you'd do maybe 15 hours a week, you'd get like an interior bedroom or somebody's dining room before Christmas. But, like when the holidays kick off, dude, people don't want you in your house painting.
Right.
And then like when it gets to be like January, it's cold and nobody wants you painting in their house when you can't open the windows.
Right.
So and you sure can't paint outside. So unless you've got like some good commercial contracts, which at a certain point in my life I did end up having stuff like that, but for a good long time, it's just like, man,
right,
save up.
Yeah.
Make sure you have that 12 grand in the bank.
Yeah.
And then just ride with it.
Yeah. No, absolutely. It's not so much a like commentary on the self-employed part. I was more so talking like if you were saying like instead of
right. Well, and I'm thinking that like my goal for any work I would take in between summer classes and my spring classes and summer and fall, like the idea will be to make it so that I can pay for my living expenses and only take out enough loans to pay for school. That would be my goal.
Yep.
Because interest is a motherfucker.
Oh, for sure.
And like all of that's going to change when if and when I move to the Big Ten school, it's going to be a lot more intense and a lot more expensive. So like the ability to do it for one more year, like I should probably take advantage of that opportunity.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
I agree.
So
yeah, for sure.
Anyway,
for sure. No, I think that's smart. I definitely think that's smart.
Yeah. But this is like why I say I would prefer under the table. So despite what is going on at the federal level, like the FAFSA is still a thing. The Department of Education, although it's being dismantled, they are focusing on like helping elementary schools, and they're trying to kick that back to the states. As far as the colleges go, like there is still a federal program for colleges at least going into fall and spring of next year.
Yeah.
So if I were to make a ton of money over summer, that would alter how much I could get there and how cheap I can borrow there.
Yeah.
So it's very dangerous for me to go and like make 20 grand over the summer.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
Because that completely negates any ability to borrow cheaply.
All of that is,
and I lose Badger.
All of that's factored in.
And I lose Badger.
Yeah.
We can't have that.
All that's factored in. Yeah. Yep. 100%.
But, nobody's hired me, so it's not like I'm at this point, it's all speculation. And it will continue to be speculation, allegedly.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah.
Because if it were to happen, I sure as hell wouldn't record it and post it to YouTube.
Right. Yep. Don't put crimes in writing, right?
You never put your crimes in writing.
Yeah.
You don't record your crimes.
Yeah.
Now, fantasizing or speculating about crimes, I mean...
No telling on yourself.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, my God. Don't talk to the police. Don't do it. Not without a lawyer present. And even then, your lawyer should be talking, not you.
Yeah. At that point, if you've got a lawyer present like that, they're...
Oh, my God.
What else are you paying them for? They should be talking.
I am...
Here we are giving legal advice again.
So I'm like, there's this Soviet joke that I've seen going around on Facebook, since everything on Facebook is Russian at this point. Both sides, they're on both sides of this. It's insane.
Is it?
It sure feels like it.
I don't know.
But anyway, they're like, they see the foxes are all like packing up and leaving town, and they're like, Mr. Fox, why are you leaving town? And he's like, oh, the NKVD made being a goose illegal. He's like, but you're not a goose, you're a fox. And he's like, you tell that, how am I going to prove that to the NKVD? And I'm like, oh God. Yeah. Anyway. Since, like, how are you going to, if you don't have due process, how do you prove that you're not a gang member? Mm-hmm. How do you prove that you're here legally if you're just taken away and sent somewhere else without due process? And it's like,
yeah, I get it.
I'm not saying on a public forum whether I'm for or against it. I'm just saying that it's happening.
Yeah,
clearly. Yeah. So
I get it. I get it.
Kind of wild how like 1950s Soviet joke is prevalent here in 2025 America.
Yeah, man. Yep. History doesn't repeat itself, it just rhymes.
You're going to have to explain that to me.
Well, it's not exactly the same. It just sounds a lot alike.
I like that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I think that, us defunding public schools for the past, 30 years, this is exactly what happens. Because most people, when offered all of the entertainment that we're offered these days, it's so much easier to just be entertained than it is to learn and think.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I see that unfortunately with a lot of my classmates.
Well, and I mean,
and I keep being like, you guys, you're the ones. You realize that, right? Oh my God. It's always somebody else until it isn't, Delicious. I didn't mean to get all dark with it. I apologize for that. Hopefully it's one less thing that I will have to feel guilty about.
Well, I mean,
yeah. Anyway. This is going to be a joy to edit.
They always are.
If you've made it this far, go ahead and consider chucking a like on this thing. If you have not done so, you may want to subscribe. We would appreciate that. If you're listening to this in the audio form, go ahead and chuck a review on. We like 5 stars, but we know sometimes the content doesn't live up to that. Maybe it does. I don't know.
Tell us how you really feel.
Yeah. Tell us, please. I don't see comments, and I feel like I want to see comments. I want to know. I should start commenting on it myself. to drive bot traffic or something. I don't know. Oh my God, I need to go to sleep. Anyway. Do you have anything else, Bob?
No.
No. What a night.
Yeah.
Love you guys.
Bye.
What a fucking night. That's all right.